What's going on, everybody? Let's do a quick recap of the two trades that we took today. Okay, so we did end our losing streak, which is great. We took this W initially. By the way, if you guys haven't seen or kept up with the information, we are extending our trading window for testing purposes across from market open. Instead of first 45 minutes of market open, we're doing the first 2.5 hours of market open. So until 9:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. actually. That's our new trading window for the next 2 to 3 weeks for testing, possibly up to 1 month, because I want to see. I actually went and back tested some data on the trades. Let me show you guys over here real quick. Some of the, I have some more trades as well, but I back tested some of the trades in April, extending out our trading window from 9:30 a.m. to 10:15, from 9:30 to 10 or 9:30 to 12 p.m. And we found it to be like pretty profitable. So we might stick to this for the next 2 to 3 weeks, see how our trades go, see how many trades we get, see how's our performance, and see if it's a valid adjustment to make, right? We're also going to monitor how many trades we take in the first 45 minutes compared to the first 2.5 hours, right? Basically, I need to change the zone colors, but basically until we trade until this point, let me see, until 9 o'clock my time, this entire zone. And if the market conditions are perfect, which it was in our favor, we can continue and trade for until it breaks the conditions. Okay? Plain and simple. So very, very good understanding that we just found over the weekend of what we could potentially change with the strategy, because we were on a pretty long losing streak. And I'll be honest, guys, it did get to my head like 20%. That's why I went back. I made sure, are these losses part of my strategy? Or am I just messing up with my emotions, taking random trades, or what's going on? And the best way to do that is to go over, track my trades, go over my lives, which I do record. I go over them. I see my performance. I see how I traded. I go about what I wrote down in the Discord and whatever, and what I explained when I explained the trade. And I go see, were these trades valid trades that I took? Along with that, what I added on top was backtesting, because I wanted to potentially test my strategy, optimizing it to the current market conditions, right? That's a very important thing. You're always going to have to be a student of the game, monitoring your performance, and being on top of whether your strategy needs to be modified or adapted or not, right? Because we don't normally have that long of a 5 or 6 trade losing streak that often. That's a pretty long losing streak for a 65% win rate strategy. So it got me thinking, like, what are these losses coming from? So I did everything I tell my students if they ever go through any sort of losses. Track your performance, go over your performance, see, are these losses part of the game? Are they part of the strategy? Are they part of the probabilities? Or are they something you're messing up on your psychology end, right? Are they just part of the edges losses, the probabilities, or is it actually your fault on taking the low quality setups? Okay, and if the strategy needs to be refined and we're taking all the rules, then if we're taking all the rules and it's still taking losses, then potentially it needs to be refined if you look at it over a larger sample of trades and it's not hitting well and it's all hitting stop loss or it's not hitting well. Something might need to be tweaked a little bit to adapt the strategy to the current market conditions, because could be sometimes that the markets are just not moving the same for your strategy. You need to adapt it to whatever is moving new or whatever is the potential rule that could cause your edge to come back now for the new market conditions. So it's always important to be able to track. This is why I always preach. Journal, track your data, potentially record your trades if you even want to. I would recommend that. Go back on your performance after every day, after every week. Look at all the trades you took in the videos that you recorded. See, did I take my trades properly? Also, if you don't have already, have your strategy written out. Have your strategy like from all the entry criteria and all the exit criteria written out, so you know exactly what you're looking for. And if you don't know what those are, you definitely need to go and get those before you start trading with money on the line. And along with that, make sure you have your back-tested profitable strategy in place before you even decide to trade any sort of rules, unless you're going with the intention of forward testing and finding your strategy that way. But with that being said, this is a trade recap video, so let's go over the two trades we took. This was the first trade we took, the winner right here. What happened? We had 200 SMA sloping down, 50 we're holding below the 50 SMA. Great. Now all that's left for us to do, right? See the price structure downtrending very clearly. Okay, I wanted us to maintain these highs right here if we wanted to continue down. So we maintain those highs. We didn't have a momentum candle until down here, this candle that formed right here. Okay, solid black candle, no wicks. Well, very small top and bottom wick, but that's still valid enough for me to enter off of that candle, right? Because we're also holding below the moving averages as well. entered off that candle, stop loss at the high, targeting the previous low. The only thing I didn't like about this trade is how we didn't have the momentum candle right at the pivot point. We formed it towards the end of the continuation. And that could cause a lot of like potential failed strategies, which is what I'm looking out for in my back testing to see, or even going back on my trades, looking back on my trades that I tracked in the journal and I tracked on Discord and I tracked in the videos to see, are the trades that set up right at the end of the continuation resulting in low probability trades, or are they still valid, right? For example, this one formed very late into the continuation. Okay, it could have easily stopped us out like this and still continue downtrend. Okay, but we got to be a little bit careful, because when our trade is actually, let's say we entered off this candle, let's say we had a momentum candle here. If our entry is at the pivot point, it could easily come in our direction a little bit and go against us, and then that would be considered potentially starting an uptrend, right? Because we're breaking above the high. Okay, so if it breaks above the high, then it's probably going to start an uptrend. We can't avoid those losses. The only way we can avoid is by making sure we enter off of momentum candles, not candles like this. Because let's say you get a move down like this. Okay, you get a move down like this, really strong. You get a pullback, but you don't get any sort of momentum candle. Oh, if you get a black candle has a lot of momentum, whatever. We enter, immediate stop loss. Why? Because there's no strength in the market yet. You want to wait for that strength, which is only occurring when we have momentum candles. And one that I'm also recently testing is bearish candles, which are usually when they have a big body like this, a slightly large top wick, and a super small bottom wick. For example, a bearish candle is like this, right here. Huge body, super small bottom wick, and small top wick. This one's another one right here. Super small bottom wick, slightly bigger top wick. Okay, these are bearish candles. Okay, that's something I'm testing. It's not something I'm implementing. It's something I'm testing, because I notice sometimes that can increase our trade frequency by a lot. And it is a sign of bearish and sometimes in the vice versa bullish strength whenever we have a candle like this that's with a big body on the bottom and a top wick for bearish, and a big, let me find a bullish candle like this for a bullish. Big green candle with a green body and a top decently sized bottom wick with a really small top wick, right? So for bullish, it's okay to have a bottom wick. For bearish, it's okay to have a top wick, right? But we don't want, on a bearish, we don't want a bottom wick, and on a bullish, we don't want a top wick. Okay, that's for bearish and bullish candles, not momentum candles. Momentum candles are these candles, like these ones right here. This one, the one we entered off of, etc. So enter off this candle. That's the only thing I didn't like, how our entry happened at towards the end of the continuation. Our take profit was actually set at 1-to-1, not at the previous swing low. Why? Because we want minimum of 1-to-1. Smack take profit on that in 30 seconds. Next, this was the second trade that we should have taken going back. Yeah, we can't be coulda, woulda, shoulda trader. But this is reflecting time. This is not like, oh, I should have made more profit. No, this is reflecting time. We're going back. We're saying, okay, what trades did we take? Did we miss any opportunities? Did we not focus on taking the trades that we're supposed to? So this was one of the trades that we weren't focused on. It was forming as we were talking about this win right here, and as we're like celebrating it in the Discord, which you need to probably hold off on doing, or maybe make it a little bit shorter so we can focus on the charts, because we did get a valid opportunity off this trade right here, right? We got TP on this one. We got another pullback, a very short-lived pullback. We got a momentum candle to the downside that formed okay. I didn't really see how it formed, and I didn't want to rush into any trades after a win, so we ended up missing out on this trade. Entry on the candle closure, take profit would be 1-to-1, and that would smack take profit as well. The next trade we took was this loss, which I didn't like too much, because this pullback was stronger than what I'd want, but it is a valid trade. It followed all the rules, followed all the entry criterias, right? We had the strong downtrend, SMA sloping down, holding below it, very strong downtrend, which we just mentioned. And we had a slightly larger pullback than I'd want. Ideally, I'd wanted to respect these highs right here, but I was like, okay, worst case scenario, I'm avoiding a trade 100% if we avoid these. So we did enter this one lighter, and stop loss at the high of the candle, you guys already know, right? Pullback, momentum candle, entry at the close. When it closes, our stop loss goes at the high, and our take profit gets set at the swing low for a 1.55 RR. This trade, I think it did. No, it didn't go 1-to-1 RR. It was close, but we saw it dump a little bit. Our TP was set down here, ended up hitting stop loss. It is what it is. It's a valid loss. Our strategy does have a 65% win rate, so we can't win them all. Okay, so Those are it for the 2 trades today. Just that first win and then the second loss. This one was one that we should have taken, which is what I'm going to be looking out for in the future and marking up, because it's important to go reflect again, like I said, on the day, to see what trades did you take, were they valid, were they invalid, what trades did you miss, and so on and so forth, right? There's many questions you need to ask, and in order to learn how to ask the right questions, you need to constantly be tracking your performance, seeing how you trade, and then you'll better understand your strategy and know what questions you need to ask to improve your strategy. Okay, so take the time to track and journal your trades. I promise you that will be a game changer in your strategy, along with backtesting. Backtesting is your best friend. If you ever lose confidence in your strategy, or you realize your edge isn't there and you don't have your profitable strategy anymore, backtest the past 2-3 weeks and go further back if you want to from there on out, right? Go backtest your strategy and the recent price action. See, is it your psychology or is your strategy just not working anymore? What's the issue? Okay, if you notice your performance is significantly different. All right, with that being said, hopefully you guys learned something from this mini trade recap, and let's get back on the charts tomorrow. All right, I'll see you guys at 9:20 a.m. in the Discord. Peace out, everybody.